Treaty City Brewery in Limerick. Keep her lit. This one's up next. And then, hey, welcome back to Views on Brews. I am Brendan, and this beer here is a German lager. It is part of a new sort of range from Treaty City Brewery in County Limerick. A friend was down in Limerick just before the second lockdown here in Ireland, and he brought me back 4 or 5 different cans in this range. I think it was 4. It might have been 5. We'll see. They're interesting in that these two were low, 3.9% and 4%. This one is 4.7%. It's a German lager. You get nice malty German flavors to this beer. Again, it doesn't tell you much about the ingredients on the back, so that's a shame. But anyway, these beers are just meant to be enjoyed for what they are. They're drinking beers. They're not going to do anyone any harm. They're not. Yeah, I was talking about this last time. There's thinking beers and then there's drinking beers. It's the way I look at it sometimes. And so far, these two were just drinking beers. Not trying to blow up or on social media. Not trying to be the greatest beers ever to be made in their style. This is just a brewery that's just brewing styles of beers. They're not trying to be the absolute top brewery in Ireland. I haven't seen anything that would suggest that. They're just pumping out beers. So as long as the beers don't taste bad, and as long as the price is right, that's all we should really expect until you get into the category of paying more for a beer and this beer being hyped up on social media. But this is just a brewery that I kind of like the simplicity of what they're doing. As long as you don't make bad beer, and as long as you're not charging through the roof for the beers, I think it's absolutely fine just to make very normal, very good, solid, flavoursome beers without them having to be, the best beers with the best new hops, as fresh as possible. Well, we want all beers to be fresh as possible. This is best before May 2021. We are currently October still, in the last few days of October. German beer, it is not crystal clear. What does it say about it on the back? It's 2 out of 5 for malt, this is like a meter on low to high. 2 out of 5 for malt, 2 out of 5 for hops, 2 out of 5 for body, 2 out of 5 for fruit, and guess what? It's 2 out of 5 for colour. I still don't understand what they mean by colour. 2 out of 5 for colour. I mean, what's the measurement of that? What does that mean? If it was black, would you give it 5 out of 5? What does that even mean? And then it also has this fruit thing on here. It has 2 stars out of 5 for fruit. What does that mean? Am I expecting fruit in this? Because this one, which is a New England IPA, was 3 out of 5 for fruit. This one is a cucumber saison. It is 1 out of 5 for fruit. I don't understand that on the back at all. I think they need to have a look at that and sort of review what the messages they're trying to get across, because there's no fruit in this beer, and the aroma of fruit, if I don't put it on my nose, it's not. It's noble hops. It's that kind of peppery, spicy, earthy sort of mineral or earthy sort of green, clean, crisp hop character that you expect from a German beer. And of course, in a German beer, a German lager, you always expect sweetness on the nose, and I get that. It's like a honey, grainy maltiness on the nose, and it's going to be sweet. Yeah, very nice, thick, dense, rocky head of foam on top. Really decent carbonation. Probably could have gone a bit higher on the carbonation, but you know, only because that's just kind of like a preference thing. You know, not so much the head retention, but I kind of like a nice effervescing lager, kind of like a pilsner, is what I'm saying. I like that style because it allows the bite of the bittering hops to really dry out on the palate. But anyway, cheers, Sláinte, and thank you, Treaty City. Let's see what keep her lit is like. Very traditional Irish saying, keep her lit. Anyway, let's give it a go. Yeah, the aroma we've done. It's sweet. It's very sweet. It's perhaps a little bit on the extra sweet side is where we'll put it. Nice malty, grainy sort of texture to it. Kind of a bready note to it, but there's kind of like a consuming sweetness to this beer, which is a little on the high end. I would have toned that down if possible. The body says 2 out of 5. The body on this beer is nearly heavy. I'd have said more along the lines of 4 out of 5. Hops it gives 2 out of 5 as well. There's a bit of fruitiness coming through. I get fruity esters, pear I get on this beer as well, which strictly speaking from a German lager point of view, you don't really want esters coming through. There's a decent amount of pear ester coming through on this. If you don't mind that sort of ale yeast ester profile from a lager yeast beer, then totally fine. But yeah, I wouldn't be rushing back to have a whole bunch of these. I think one is enough. It's fairly heavy and it's fairly sweet for what it is meant to be. I would say that's a beer that could benefit from having a drier profile, less body, a bit of a change up of the malts there, or of the base malt at least. But otherwise, a pretty nice beer, simple beer to drink. It's 4.7%. Personally, I'd only have one of those and then I'd move on to something else. I find this is a fairly tame beer. If you were a lager drinker drinking Carlsberg or Heineken and you drank this, I think you'd have half that and say, I can't drink any more of it, it's too sweet. Whereas you get that really sharp bite from, when you finish the mouthful of like an American light lager or a German or a Czech Pilsner, you get that bite and it finishes dry on the palate. This just continually keeps giving sweetness, which isn't nothing wrong with it, but it's just not my cup of tea. I think I preferred the New England IPA. But anyway, cheers, Sláinte. I'm going to enjoy this. I've still got a little bit of these left to drink, so I'm going to sit and get my dinner and drink it. It's good to be back. Cheers, Sláinte. It's on to the next one. Bye.